A 3-game run without a league win. It's their first home win with a clean sheet in the league since December. And Rio Ngumoha was a real bright spot. The fans have been crying out to see more of him, and he got his first goal at Anfield.
Yeah, and I was really pleased for him. He's been really impactful in the times he's come on and in the games he's started in the League Cup, the FA Cup, and even some of the games in Europe. There's been a clamour for a while from fans now to start him, because obviously we've seen Gakpo struggle a bit on the left. Wirtz hasn't been great on the left, and the reason the fans love him is because he's so brave and direct all the time. Great little run there. It wasn't a penalty, to be fair, but it was the intent early on in the game. I'm going to keep going at you. He doesn't mind failing, and the fans respond to that. And the great thing about him, we've seen bits of him over the last couple of months, is he can go both ways. Again here, really committing players, standing them up, saying, come on, are you going to be able to defend against me 1v1? He's disciplined as well in his positional play, keeps his width really well. It's an amazing goal. It's a brilliant finish, and he waits for the little bit of space and curls it in the corner. And then of course, his confidence is up, and Liverpool players it feels like watching sometimes that they're looking, when can I get the ball to him? And he's a 17-year-old kid. I do understand Slot. He's involved here in the second goal, beating players, committing men, great finish from Salah. I do understand when someone's 17 why a manager tries to slowly introduce, but Liverpool's needs are desperate. You know, the second leg coming up, which we'll talk about, I think he should start personally. But in this game, the second half, he was at it again. He doesn't... I was talking before about some of the Arsenal wingers coming back a lot. And when he gets in those positions, he looks to find somebody. He looks to have a final end product, which is key when you play well. You've got to take risks. And I think just before he came off, he thought, I've got another goal in me. And he dances inside again and gets a great shot away, straight down the keeper's throat, unfortunately. But standing ovation as he come off, and I think 99.9% of Liverpool fans want to see him Tuesday night, because this is a massive game for Liverpool and he can make things happen.
Well, that's the big question. They have a 2-goal deficit against Paris Saint-Germain as they come to Anfield. It could have been more, so they were in a better position than perhaps they could have been after their visit to Paris. I know you want to see Rio Ngumoha, but do you think that Arne Slot starts him?
Well, I would have said no before I seen some of his quotes after the game where he's talking about now he's ready to play in any game. So he might. I think he'll err on the side of caution and go with somebody else. The big thing for me is because Hakimi goes wandering and he just plays his own game, that why not leave him out there on the left? Because if there's a transition, he's perfect because he's so direct and so dynamic.
I would start him simply because he brings an energy and a freshness to Liverpool, and I think that's one of the things that has been desperately missing for Liverpool. And with that performance today, the confidence that will give him, chuck him in again. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
We'll find out on Tuesday night. 4 games and goal of the month on Sunday.
Scanning to see where his next pass is. Just pause it here. Gakpo cuts it back on an angle. Wirtz, he's still scanning. You can see him. He wants to get the ball out to Ngumoha because he knows 1v1 he's got Castagna. So the fact that he adjusts his position, he comes against the flow of the attack a little bit. He knows where he wants to play, and for me, this is the best midfield play. Simple and effective.
And how important is it, just pause it there, that once he gets that first touch, that he then gets it out to Rio? It doesn't take too many touches.
Spot on, Jamie. You'll know it. The importance of just keeping it simple. In, first touch, bang, out, 1v1, perfect. We just pause it here and we just rewind it back again. We spoke about Andy Robertson, and I think there's a reason they asked him to do the interview with Ngumoha, partly because of this. You can just see here, this is what he does best, and he knows the timing of it. We know Andy Robertson is an overlapping fullback. He's a fullback that wants to get forward, but just the timing of when he arrives, I think what's brought him so much success in a Liverpool shirt over the years. Just pause it there. He just takes Castagna away. Here now, Castagna's responsibility is Robertson. It means the centre-back in Anderson has to jump out and address Ngumoha inside the box. The spare player for Liverpool in the attack is the guy who scores. It's Mo Salah at the back post, because the whole back four has had to shift and be aware. Bassey's locked on to Gakpo, and Ngumoha, again, in exactly the same position as his goal. He now gets the defender, this time Anderson, 1v1. And because he's patient and he waits, he then creates this moment here. First touch from Gakpo is excellent, and then it's your spare player at the back post. If we just have a little look now. And this is what Liverpool did really well in the game, and it must have been a tactic in the game to play right to left back inside, because I think what they did to Fulham's backline the whole game was they wanted to feed Ngumoha and Salah, and I thought they found really good flow in the game to be able to do that. And you can just see Salah at the top of the screen in a position where how many times have we seen him score from here in a Liverpool shirt? And I know, Jamie, you've got some terrific detail on.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well,
I think it's
for a change.
I think what it was is, I think the first touch here, and I think what's so important from when Gakpo receives that ball and he gets it into a good area, it's a great first touch. Now, what has to happen is if he plays that ball, as an example, to him here, that would then suggest you've got a one-on-one. But what he does is he plays it more at this angle. So that is inviting Mohamed Salah then to come onto it with his left foot, knowing that the goalkeeper's having a little peek already, Leno. And it's not the cleanest of sets, I must admit. It bobbles into him, which makes the finish actually more remarkable. But the set is absolutely ideal because he's saying to him, there you go, you can shoot with this. Look, it just gets it across to him and opens up that angle nicely for him. Because this is Mohamed Salah's food and drink, the best at it. And he obviously uses the defender there and just bends it into that corner. Now, you could say the keeper maybe can do better, but I think you have to really acknowledge how good that pass and that set, the set and the finish is as well.
And it was lovely to see this at full time as well, wasn't it, Izzy? Mo Salah applauding the fans and the fans applauding him back as well after the news that he's going to be leaving the club at the end of the season.
Well, former Evertonian and Manchester City player, I didn't really enjoy it, but no, I mean, it's fantastic. And I think that Jamie just said it there around feeling those moments, and a goal at Anfield in a game where there was pressure coming into the game, just to get the job done himself on the score sheet. He'll be well up for it against PSG in the midweek.
Yeah, and Andy Robertson now. Just see Andy behind him. Now, if you talk about value for money in this current climate, £8.5 million. Unbelievable. And he's going to obviously finish as well. But Mohamed Salah today, I thought was fantastic. Izzy, you spotted this from minute one. You said he looks up for it today. He looks really sharp. Created a lot of things for the team. Worked extremely hard as well. Won a lot of balls back. Jumped onto second balls like that. Looked quick. So they'll be hoping for that midweek against PSG because he still has that fear factor. You give him an opportunity like he gets today, anything is still possible with him.
Yeah, and they're going to need their big players to step up, and the creative. We're going to come on to it, but the creativity that Liverpool looked like they employed today a little bit more, and a lot of it came from him, and that's what the Liverpool fans want to see. They want to see him at his best to finish the season as strong as possible.
Jamie, how much of a boost can this give Mo Salah as well now for the final couple of games?
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the stat at the bottom, really jumps to me. They said most tackles this season for Liverpool, with 4. And look, it's not his game, but what it does is that everyone has to give a little bit more right now. They're struggling. It hasn't been fluent. It hasn't been the Liverpool that we expected it to be. So that's where you've got to actually become a bit of a different player. And if you haven't got it, go and chase it, win it back. It's not rocket science. And when someone like that's doing it, everyone else buys into it. Now, Szoboszlai must have won the ball back 7 or 8 times today by just going to chase it, getting after people. It becomes contagious. And that's what you need. Then Salah starts to do it. So they're going to have to do that midweek. It's going to be extremely hard against the brilliant PSG side. But you never know. Stranger things have happened at Anfield. We've seen it for many years. There is something very magical about that place, certainly in a night game in the Champions League. So, of course, PSG are massive favourites, but you never know.
Yeah, a really big week for Liverpool coming up. But Izzy, where did you see the improvements for Liverpool tonight?
Well, we saw some moments in the game that you thought a little bit more like Liverpool. And I think that this is a game where it was a fairly routine fixture for them in terms of the pressure they came into the game under in the middle of the PSG quarter-final tie. And I think that the way Fulham played into Liverpool's hands a lot, but you've still got to find that bite and that energy and that creativity about them. And there were moments in this game where you thought Liverpool look a little bit more like themselves. Feeding the ball out wide, like we've spoken about where the goals came from. I thought Wirtz, like I said, feeding the fullbacks, getting the fullbacks high. This was early on in the game, and I don't know about you, Jamie, but fullback to fullback is a very Liverpool move.
Yeah.
And getting
well,
your
you
fullbacks
think about
high,
Trent and Robertson, don't you? Yeah, exactly that.
High and aggressive, and I just thought they looked like a bit more connected. Look, Frimpong running off Salah, and that's where Liverpool fans are probably starting to see that relationship evolve. And it's going to be short, that relationship between Frimpong and Salah, different ends of their Liverpool careers, but they're finding a connection at an important time in the season. And again, now runs off Frimpong again, using the space. Salah feeds him, beautiful way to pass, and this could have been a different story with Gakpo. I think he thinks that Anderson's maybe going to make contact with the ball again. Frimpong getting high, Salah being the widest player. I just think that, and then look at that from Wirtz. Beautiful weight of pass, creates that moment inside the box. Could have been different on a different day, but it just looked to be so much more energy about them, didn't it, James?
Yeah, absolutely. everything you said there. You know, McAllister coming on as well. We need to see a little bit more from him. But there were good moments, but there was a bit of intent there. The other side of it was obviously that Fulham also had moments, and that's the one thing with Liverpool. You always feel they give up chances. You know, they look like they're susceptible from any set piece that comes into the box. That's something they have to be really aware of, because they are so open. You know, in that first half, they had Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones in there in midfield. Now, if you put an idea, they are both attacking players, so they are naturally going to always think, if the ball drops there, I might be able to land on it and shoot. They don't think, if the ball lands there, I'm going to get myself in a position defensively to make sure that I'm just going to protect that back four. So they have a different mindset. But when Gravenberch comes into that area, he does think slightly more defensively, although still he has very attacking, aspects to his game. But no, I think it was a really positive one. They had to bounce back. There was no way they could have gone into that PSG game on the back of a loss today. The crowd, the connection, you've got to get that back together. So yeah, it was a huge result for them. I think Fulham's perspective, they'll probably think there was a chance missed today, because Liverpool were there to be taken, but they didn't take up enough opportunities.
We'll get on to Fulham shortly, but Izzy, what does this say about the mentality of the players to put in a performance like this after recent results?
I think sometimes you have no other choice. You know, the games come thick and fast. You spend all season, a club like Liverpool, striving to be in Europe for the following season, and then you can't complain then about the games coming 70 hours after your midweek fixture. You want to play these games,
absolutely.
right? And that's why you use your depth. There was 5 changes made into that Liverpool starting 11 for today, that were rested from the midweek Champions League fixture, and I thought it worked. And it's finding the balance, and that's why you have a squad that competes. You look at the depth of Arsenal's squad, and you look at the changes they made today, and they're still, obviously they didn't get the result, but they're still, you look to that 11 that Arsenal put out and you go, wow. Same with Liverpool, obviously, and Ngumoha, the young player that we've spoken about, getting the opportunity. But for me, there's no choice. No,
that's right.
You have to step up, show your teeth, show what you're made of, and do your job, and that's what the Liverpool players did today.
And having Isak back as well, he came on for 20 and he actually looked sharp. It's obviously going to take a little bit of time. Had a horrendous injury. The season has not gone his way, but there's no reason why he can't have a big impact for these last few games. If it's for half an hour in midweek, these obviously league games, he's going to want to finish on a high and then make sure he has a great pre-season and comes back flying for next year. So to have him back, and then you've got Ekitike and players like that can make a difference. They have got a lot of options going forward.
OK, we're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back...
Arne, better, happier? That was a big win.
Yeah, of course you're happier than after losing 4-0 and losing 2-0. So yeah, I think good first half. We were already close a few times. Couldn't convert one of the chances, and then Rio had a great moment. Just before that, I felt that Fulham got a bit more into the game, so it was really helpful that Rio had a great 1v1 moment, scored a great goal, and afterwards Mo finished off really well there. Then you're quite comfortable, not completely, but quite comfortable at halftime.
Rio's goal, it was the step over the check back. It was an incredible goal, wasn't it? Yeah, one of his strengths, of course, dominating the 1v1. And I think we've seen this season that he gets more and more playing time. And that's also what he deserves, because every time when he plays, he does really well. And he's influencing the game like he did today, like he did against Wolves. And today he even scored a goal, which is vital in football, because goals matter a lot. And as you say, Mo still showing what he can do as well. It's the lift you needed, though. I imagine that dressing room is a good place to be right now.
It's a better place than it was 2 or 3 days ago or a week ago. But it's also not that after we win, then all of a sudden everything is good again. So we know there's still a lot to play for us.
It's the lift it gives the team, though.
No, that's for sure. Of course, everybody can understand after 2 of these losses, once with 4-0 and the 2-0 was felt more than 2-0. I think we all know why. And then to come out today and beat Fulham after only 2 days of rest, that shows the mentality of the team. I think the same mentality they showed 2 days ago in Paris, although we had a very tough time, but we did show mentality, and we showed that again today, and this time it resulted in a win.
And that's the test you were looking for. You talked about it being a test, this game, to see how you respond, how everybody responds, and that performance just sort of reminded what Liverpool can do.
Yeah, definitely. But I think we've played many games like this season, but unfortunately that not always led to a win. So
Or a clean sheet.
or a clean sheet. Yeah, I think we've deserved to win, but it wasn't that it was by big margins. It wasn't as if we completely dominated the game and overplayed them, as it happened against us 2 days ago. But we deserve to win, but we've played many of these games where then a deflected shot or a set piece led to us conceding and it ended up in a draw or a loss. So this game I saw today, I saw us playing a lot. But now maybe, I wouldn't say luck, but at last doing justice to how the game went.
So what do you do now? What do you say? What's the message now going into the game on Tuesday night?
Now, first of all, I was really happy with the clean sheet because that's what you actually need almost in every game. But definitely we need that on Tuesday, and I think it was a good first step going into a massive week because it's not only PSG, it's also Everton in the weekend. So this is a good start of the week, and but unfortunately we were so lucky that we play Wednesday, Tuesday. So that means 3 games in 6 days. So there are only 2 days of rest. So I also told them how important recovery is because they've experienced even more than I did because I was looking at it, how intense the game was in Paris. And the game will not be less intense in 2 days because the fans will be behind us and the players will give everything they have to turn things around. And therefore you need to be top fit, which is not easy if you play 3 games in 6 days. But I can tell you we are up for it, we're ready for it. And Anfield will be ready for it, as I noticed today as well.
Very quick word on Curtis. Do you know what the injury was that forced him off in the game?
Yeah, he felt a little bit, I think it's groin, you say it over here. So it wasn't a moment, he felt it already for a few minutes. So let's hope for the best, but I would be surprised if a player comes off that he's available for Tuesday. But I would almost say welcome to our season. So every time after a win or after something good happens, there's always an injury following it up. But it's a win, and that's where we should be really happy about.
You go again on Tuesday. Good luck in that. Thank you.
We do. Thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for Liverpool, does it? But do you feel like this may be a bit of a relief for Arne Slot, this performance today, or do you think he's got his mind straight onto Tuesday's game already?
A bit of both. I think he'll enjoy the moment. You know, like he said there, every time you win, it just takes that little bit of pressure. If you had lost today, it ends up being one of those, like, where do we go from here? You know, you're in a really difficult predicament. You're getting punched on the nose every single week. I think he'd be delighted with a reaction from his players. He'll be looking at, OK, what's the best team that's going to give us a great chance in midweek? Get the crowd behind you because you know they're going to be a 12th man for you. So I think he'd be delighted, and I think he'd be proud of his team. A couple of players have told him that they really want to play in midweek on Tuesday, the likes of Mohamed Salah. So they've given himself a chance as well, because I said before the show, before the game, if he doesn't finish in Champions League places, I think it makes it really difficult in terms of his position next season. If he does, it gives Liverpool a problem. And they go, well, oh, what? You have got money in the bank. You won the league for us last year. You know, we won it once in 30-odd years. You've done it in 1 year. So they might go, let's keep him here. So, but if they don't finish in Champions League, I think he makes if they're umming and ahhing on it, I think it will make it go the other way. And obviously with Xabi Alonso being the elephant in the room. But they're giving themselves a chance. You can see this race here as teams are stumbling. Manchester United have got some tough games to come. Aston Villa, Liverpool. So who knows? But that was a big, big win for them, because what you didn't want as well, we can't see them there. Fulham would have gone 2 points behind them if they'd have beaten them. So it gives them a chance, that's for sure.
What do you think?